Hello, Facebook, and everybody who's hopefully checking this out. This is the first time I've done a Facebook Live, so I'm not sure in the sense of microphones and cameras and all that how this is going to work. But what I wanted to do is actually just bring up three things. First thing I'm going to do is share a personal story that hopefully exemplifies the point of why I'm doing a Facebook Live. It's about my experience actually as living as a hermit. Next thing I'm going to talk about is what I would consider to be the number one thing that I would say is at the root of what most people are dealing with when they're having chronic health problems. And the third thing I want to bring up is this really crazy idea that I have for what I'm going to call a 49-day kind of meditation retreat that's going to be online. So I'm going to tell a story. I'm going to talk to you about, after 25 years of being a clinician, what is the most important thing, I think. And third thing is my crazy idea, because I really want to help you guys out. So here we go. So here's my story. When I was about 25 years old, I decided, I have to admit, I was a pretty serious young person. And I was convinced at the time, 25 years old, I was going to become a Daoist priest, a Kung Fu master, and spend most of the rest of my life basically just training and meditating, because for whatever reason at 25 that made sense. So in my attempts to become a certified or ordained Daoist priest, what I actually did was I went for an initiation where you spend 49 days in the forest by yourself. Well, I was in a cabin, but living in the bush. And during that 49 days, you're supposed to spend a certain amount of time training on some very, very specific things that actually help you become more like a Daoist priest. So that was my big plan. I'm going to go into the forest, going to live as a hermit and train like a demon and become better. So as you may be able to do the math, 49 days is 7 weeks. So here I am living in the mountains in this cabin in the bush as a hermit, and I at the time I was training about 6 hours a day, and that's going to be important. But around week 7, week 8, I was still there because I came to realize I didn't really want to leave being a hermit. And why would I leave being a hermit and then go and live in a monastery when I could just stay living as a hermit? So the weirdest thing actually started to happen, because around week 8, week 9, I stopped training 6 hours a day. And I just started training whenever I felt like it, meditating whenever I felt like it, because I was never going back. And by that I mean I was never going to have to go back and show my teachers what I had learned and if I had progressed and got better or worse. And I was never going to probably ever be teaching again. So I didn't really have to do anything that was going to be just right for my students, because I was a teacher at the time. So I was like, wow, now what do I do if I'm never going to have to show my teachers or show my students? And this began a really unique process in my life, because for the first time in many years, my personal practice of martial arts and Qigong and meditation didn't have the usual point of having an audience. And that changed kind of everything. Because around week 10, I was training like maybe 2 hours a day and just playing with my own things. And then I actually started to have the experience that the kind of training I was doing started to feel quite different and kind of look different too. So eventually, when I finally left being a hermit and came back to the world and eventually bumped into my teacher and other people, everyone who actually had known me when I was younger said, wow, what you've done with your training is really interesting. It's, you've really kind of owned it, or, got it in some way. And I was like, okay, because I was kind of retired in my own mindset, because I didn't really feel like that's what I wanted to do. So the point of that story is fundamentally, there's a big difference in my experience between doing things from the outside in and doing things from the inside out. And if you practice yoga, qigong, tai chi, martial arts, resistance training, Pilates, please fill in the list of everyone I forgot. Really important thing is, in the West, we always learn from the outside in because we're imitating our teachers. And that's true everywhere else in the world. It's just in the West, that's kind of as far as we go. It's like, look, I can imitate this person. I can do it right. It's better than the person next to me, so I win. And unfortunately, when we do things from the outside in, you may think you have it right in a competitive way, but on the inside, most people just feel insecure because at some point someone might walk up and say, hey, you're doing that wrong, or you're doing that, you know, in a way that from the outside makes people give you a sense of insecurity because, you know, they just told you you're doing it wrong. So the real point here again is whatever you're the most invested in, even if you just like to stretch and go for a walk, try and do it from your spine, try and do it from your sacrum, try and do it with your gut, try and move from your breath, try and move with your heart, so that your reference point starts with the inside of yourself. Because if you're doing anything to make yourself feel better, it should be about what you feel, not about what somebody might see or how you look. And, you know, we live in a, excuse me, a world with, you know, everything's about what it looks like on a magazine or on the internet. So again, we're just reinforcing this belief, outside in is better than inside out. So that's a little story I wanted to share, and just encourage anyone who's, you know, watching this now or later, ask yourself, what am I doing from the inside out, and what am I actually doing, you know, that I feel it kind of hurts me, you know, from the outside in, because until you can tell the difference, you're really going to need to figure that out, because it takes us all a bit of time. So second thing that I said I was going to talk to you guys about is if I was to say that there's one thing I've learned in about 4 years of clinical practice, teaching people, doing other stuff, the one thing that I've learned is almost the same thing as what I was just talking about, but it has to do with how you actually feel in your nerves, muscles, and bones. Because if you're not actually moving, aware of your posture, aware of your breath, aware of your flexibility, your strength, your butterflies in your stomach, you know, the proverbial knives in your back, and other things that we feel as we move around, your opportunities to assess your health and assess yourself is going to be diminished. So I would say the number one thing I've noticed in my practice is really focus on how it feels to be you in your body, not just in the sense of it hurts, but in the sense of actually how you feel on the level of being an animal, because it's that instinctual animal body, gut sense, felt sense, feeling of your body in the sense of pain, stress, illness, health, joy, love, compassion, and all of those things. You know, it stretches out one way or the other, and the less you pay attention to how you feel in your body, the more you're going to pay attention to what you say with your mind. And unfortunately, we're back to the outside in instead of the inside out. So I'd say to anyone who's trying to figure out what's the most important thing I could do to improve my overall health is learn to feel your body, because it's the thing that's sick. It's the thing that's trying to tell you how, you know, what to notice and maybe what you can do about it. So I would just throw that out there, that my number one go-to hack for anyone who's really trying to figure out where to start, it's with your felt sense. It's why we go and lie on the beach. It's why we want to have a hot bathtub. It's why we want to have a massage. It's why we want to have a hug and do other things, is because we really want to return to a sense of trusting the way the body feels. So hopefully that gives you at least a sense of inquiry, the beginning process of asking yourself, how do I do that? Where do I go to learn more about that? Well, third thing I was going to bring up is I've got this crazy idea, and I really want to do this. And it's actually based on my experience 25 years ago of living as a hermit. Because what I want to do is do a 49-day, every day Facebook Live for probably 10 or 15 minutes. And every day it'll be a sequential process of learning more and more and more about meditation, somatic mindfulness, being sober, because hopefully for that 49 days, we're all going to be super, super aware of our clarity of mind and, you know, openness of heart. And also what we're going to want to do, if you're willing to dare yourself into this, is for 49 days every day, not only meditate, not only become aware of your embodied sense, but also a cold shower. Now, you don't have to go and stand in the cold shower for, you know, you don't have to do that at all. But if we're going to do this together, which I'm hoping to do with a bunch of people, you can either just do whatever kind of cold shower you're familiar with. But if you're new at this, I would say start with hot, then a bit of cold, then a bit of hot, then a bit of cold, until you're used to it. But if we get enough people interested and we're all going to do this for 49 days, at some point I'll explain kind of the science of why doing that is a really, really good idea. So that's going to be free, by the way, 49 days of, you know, guided meditations, somatic awareness, and cold showers, and taking good care of ourselves for free. So again, I'm new at Facebook Live, so it's hard to tell. If there's any questions or comments or ideas, because I don't really know how that works, I think I saw one comment there. But I'm just going to stay on for a couple of minutes and see if people have questions. The program, if I could call it a program, is going to be starting February the 4th. And on February the 5th is the first day of the Chinese New Year, Year of the Boar. So I'll talk a bit about that. But we're going to start basically at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. on Monday, February the 4th. And every morning at 8 a.m., except for Sundays, I think we'll do in the evening. I'll be offering a 10-15 minute kind of, not so much a guided meditation, but here's the skill set we're working with. Here's the practice we want to get into. This is why you can do a cold shower. This is why you want to drink water in the morning. Basically, it's just going to be 49 days of me doing everything I can to inspire, motivate, surprise, and encourage everyone that's going to do this to stick with it and have some fun. I just saw a little comment here, just a sec. Not sure what that means. Cool, yeah. So mental, emotional, embodied health is what we're all about. So I'll be doing another one of these on Monday in a few days at 7 p.m. And I'm going to do a little conversation about a Chinese medicine concept we call Qing Shen. But I'm going to actually talk mostly about the concept of where your mojo is at and where your mindset is at. Because I would say if you're going to start working with your life, even if you don't want to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning every day for 49 days and take a cold shower and meditate, I would still encourage you to consider that that relationship between what you experience in your own life as your mindset and what you experience in your own body as what you might call mojo is really kind of like shaking hands with your inside self. So Monday, 7 p.m., I'll be back on doing another one of these. And we're just going to talk about where your mindset and mojo meet and get into a little bit of the basic physiology and hopefully convince a few people to get up with me every day to meditate, to take a cold shower, to hopefully take care of yourself in the best way that you can every day for 49 days, because in the Daoist tradition, that's a very specific initiation into becoming aware of yourself. So I think I've said everything I need to say. If there's any comments, questions, limericks, bad jokes, opinions about my new glasses, bring it on. Otherwise, I'll see you guys Monday at 7 p.m. And for the people who jumped on, thank you so much, because this is the first time I've done this, and it was really, really great to see some humans, hop on and say hi. So just waiting to see if anything else pops up for people. And I will be doing a bit of a Q&A at least once a week, and I'm sure that's going to last more than 15 minutes. But hopefully as people come together and we choose a group, and if we all agree on a time, we can do a 49-day Rite of Passage initiation to living your life from the inside out, because that would be awesome. All right. Thanks, Liz. It is going to be a lot of fun. Thanks, Jamie. That was a good affirmation that what we're up to is going to help some people. And there was a couple of other comments that went way past me here, but I'll just scroll up because I just realized I can do that. Okay, thanks, Lynn. Good to know I can be seen and heard. So thank you all very much for checking this out. I don't see any questions or other comments, so hopefully I'll see and chat with you guys on Monday at 7 p.m. And if you know anyone who might be into a 49-day meditation, somatic mindfulness, cold shower, sobriety, holy crap, Rite of Passage, whenever the video gets available, send them a link, and I'll be putting up an event and sharing that with everybody tomorrow. So thanks again, and happy Thursday night. Year of the Boar. It's going to be a good one. Blessings, everybody.